Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Steve McCauley coming with another video. This time we got a 6v6 Wi-Fi battle, and today my opponent has a pretty standard, what Smogon calls OU, just like a really common team with some really common and powerful Pokemon, namely the Volcarona, the Ferrothorn, the what's it called? The one on the far left, the mole one. I don't remember what it's called right now. I love it. It's a good Pokemon. But some less common Pokemon as well in the Lantern, the Gastrodon, and the Swellow. I mean, I think it's it's hardly ever used, so it's like one that catch me off guard. I don't know. Here I'm like, I don't know if it carries Defog or not, but gosh, I can't remember the name of this mole Pokemon on the far left. It's really bothering me. But here in Team Preview, I'm like, okay, well, I have my Tangrowth. He only has two Pokemon that'll hit it for super effective, the Volcarona and the Swellow. So I was thinking about leading it. I was like, it'd be a good lead, but at the same time, I was like, I don't know what I'd be able to do with it though, because like Ferrothorn will wall me. He won't be able to do anything to me because I'm physically defensive. And I won't be able to do anything to him. So that's why with the team preview, it took me a while to figure out what I was going to lead with. So we're going to go ahead and get started now. And when I see the name of that Pokemon, I'm going to freak out because I forget what it is. But I lead off with my Quaidol here because I decided I want to get rocks up more than anything to deal with that Volcarona. So here he goes for Facade, and I was like, oh, great. It's going to be Guts. It's going to have the Flame Orb. So luckily my red card hits it out before it can burn itself. And unfortunately, it brings in the Volcarona. If I got these Stealth Rocks up before, then this Volcarona would have come in and taken half its health as damage. So that kind of sucks. And here I completely forget that Volcarona is part bug, and it learns Bug Buzz. I was like, I'm just going to go for the Earthquake here since nothing on this team wants to take an Earthquake. And except for the Swallow, but if it comes in, it's going to take 25% damage to its health. So that sucks, but it happens. That's why I'm learning. So I come in with my Magmortar here because I know I can outspeed, and I was just going to go for the safe Flamethrower to deal probably 50% since it wasn't set up with the Quiver Dance yet. And he brings in Gastrodon, which tanks it nicely. But I do get the burn, which is going to be some nice residual damage. We see this thing has leftovers, so it's going to help offset that leftovers. He's going to recover 1/16, but he's going to take 1/8, so that's nice. I switch out. It's not safe to stay in. He's got both his stabs are super effective against me, and I go on the Tangrowth here, my physical wall, and here he goes for the Toxic, so it was a nice read on his part, but at the same time, I'm not too upset about being Toxic, so I've got the Regenerator ability, so I could just keep on switching in and out. So what did kind of suck, that burn kind of helped him as well, because I wanted to Toxic this thing. So, I mean, it did kind of help him to where he got the burn instead of the poison, since I know that thing's a wall. So he's going to switch out into his Ferrothorn. No surprise, this thing walls me completely. Immune to Toxic. But I go for the knockoff here. I was expecting him to switch out, and even if he didn't, I was going to take away those leftovers. So we take Iron Bob, and we see extra damage, so we know it's Rocky Helmet. But luckily I knock off that Rocky Helmet, and we're not going to have to deal with it again. But right now, I've already taken half damage with my Tangrowth, and there's nothing I can do. So I switch out, get that Regenerator recovery, and I go back into my Magmortar. And he goes for the Stealth Rocks of his own, and I was like, okay, like my Mega Glalie and my Magmortar are like the only ones who really take like significant damage from the rocks, so I was okay with that. And here I was predicting him to switch out, so I didn't know into what. But so instead of going for the Flamethrower, I went for the Focus Blast, but I miss. So, and we see this thing has leftovers too. This is one thing I don't like, is when people run double leftovers on their team, because they say, oh, like that's one thing I don't like about Smogon, is they don't have the item clause where you can only run one of each item. So I don't like it when people run like two, especially when they're two leftovers. I get like those because it's such a good item, but we take the Thunder Wave perfectly. Since we are already poisoned, we already have a status effect, and we are going to resist both stabs from this Lantern. So he's going to switch out, and he's going to go back into his Ferrothorn. No surprise, that's what I was expecting. I mean, this thing walls me, like I've said plenty of times. So I double switch out, and I go into my Mega Glalie here, which still isn't Mega. I was like, okay, I could probably get some nice damage off with a Refrigerate boosted return. And there's like, he can gyro ball me, but I don't think it'd be enough to take me out since I'm not really that fast. So I go for return here, and I'm like, it's probably gonna do. It's gonna take him under half. I was like, really? That's all it did? And I was like, oh no, this thing doesn't have max happiness. So right after this battle, you can bet I checked its happiness. Its happiness was in between 50 and 99. I went to the happiness rater in Verdant Turf, and she said the phrase, and I looked it up, and that meant between 50 and 99. So before I battle again, I'm gonna have to make sure it gets up to max happiness, because that really sucks. Because now the only thing I can really do is explode or use Ice Shard. So I'm gonna switch out back to my Magmortar, and here he's gonna go for the Gyro. He went for the greedy Leech Seed, and here he does a lot because I'm Choice Scarfed. I was like, dang, that's a lot. And I was like, oh yeah, it was probably 250 base power. So he's going to switch out. I'm predicting to switch again. I mean, there's no way you can stay in. So I go for the Focus Blast. This time we do connect, so I was happy about that. And we're going to do just under, like 40%. And so we're not going to be able to risk trying to hit another one to knock this thing out. So I switch back out into my Tangrowth in case he goes for the Thunder Wave. But he does a nice job predicting that and goes for the Ice Beam, which is going to do over half of the health I had remaining. But we're going to eat up that Citrus Berry, and we're going to be able to take another Ice Beam if he decides to stay in. So here I was debating. I was like, he probably is going to stay in. Excuse me. It's just so, and with Poison, he'd most likely take me out. So he does stay in and go for the Ice Beam, and leaves us at 9 HP. But I do go for the Giga Drain, which is gonna restore us a bunch of health since Lantern has quite a bit of HP. So we're after that recovery, we're gonna be able to live this poison damage, and we're gonna be able to switch out, and Regenerate is gonna bring our health back up a little bit. So I mean, I think if he didn't have these leftovers, he'd be gone. That's why that's why I usually go Citrus Fairy on one and leftovers on the other. But here I decided to switch things up a little bit. I go in my Escavalier since I'm going to resist this, or I'm not going to resist Ice Beam. Actually, I do, excuse me. It's not going to do much is what I wanted to say. I'd resist a whole bunch of stuff. And I feel like it's a good time to switch things up a little bit. And here he goes for the Thunder Wave. So, well, first I was like, I don't know why you'd Thunder Wave this thing. I mean, you're hoping for the 25% not being able to move, but I have Lumberry anyways, because this thing's probably slower than everything on his team. Even, well, maybe not slower than the Ferrothorn. But I get the Swords Dance off. I was going to see if he's going to switch out or not, but he decides to stay in. So that's going to be nice. I was like, I don't know if he's going to switch out here, but he does decide to stay in and go for the Thunder Wave. But regardless, I go for the knockoff because nothing ever wants to take a knockoff. Everything always wants this item. But I was like, even if I don't take this thing out, I just want to get rid of those leftovers. But we do pick up the knockout on the Lantern, which is fantastic. And of course, the name is in French or a different language. What is that called? But yeah, he's gonna bring. I don't even know. He's gonna go for the Rapid Spin. I should have probably seen that coming a little bit better. So now he didn't bring in his Volcarona because he knew it was gonna get destroyed by the rocks. But luckily, I'm gonna be able to knock it out with the crit. I don't think it mattered. It possibly could. I'm not going to look it up. He had the Focus Sash, so he might not have been like that defensive. He might have been hyper offense. So now he's going to bring in the Volcarona. And that's going to scare me out. I cannot stand against that. So I go into my Jellicent here, predicting the Fire type move, which he does go for. So I resist, and I'm the Special Wall. So it's not going to do too much damage. But I think here, I don't know if he'd be able to live a Scald or not. So, but I mean, there's nothing else I can really do. So, but he does switch out because seeing how little damage that did, and he decides to go into his Gastrodon, predicting the Water type move. And here I was like, I knew he was going to switch in the Gastrodon, but I didn't know what ability he would have. So I do see Storm Drain. Special attack is going to rise. So it sucks that he got that boost, but I mean, it's part of the learning process. You got to make mistakes. And so we're going to see these leftovers. I'd love to knock off these leftovers as well. And that burn will slowly take it down. So here I'm like, I go into, I didn't really know what to expect from this thing. I mean, I didn't want to take like an Earth Power or anything, and there wasn't much I could do. So I go into my Escavalier in case he was going to go for like a Water type move. And he recovers all that HP that he lost up, which is fine because that means my switch, I didn't take much damage. And here he goes for the Scald, which is going to do over 50% of my remaining health. But I wanted to get that knockoff, so we are going to knock off the leftovers. We're going to do 30% more or less, and that's going. And so he's going to knock out. Or no, so I go into my Tangrowth here to eat up the Scald, and I'm like, well, I'm probably going to be able to take it. I forgot about the Stealth Rocks. I didn't calculate the Stealth Rock damage. I'm probably going to be able to live the Scald and the Poison, and then I can just I was expecting to outspeed this thing and get a Giga Drain off or scare it out, and I'm like, well, I can't stay in now. So here I'm like, okay, well, this thing's slowly getting burned down, so I'm going to switch out into my Jellicent because it has Water Absorb, so it's actually going to give me back HP. So he still goes for the Scald, so I'm going to absorb that right up. So now we're in good position. I just remember, that Pokemon, it's Excadrill. When I was doing this battle, I knew its name. I just don't know why I just blanked out. Excadrill, the Rapid Spinner. Okay, so now he's kind of in trouble. There's nothing he can really do. He decides to let his wow, and I just forgot the name of that. His Gastrodon go down. And here he brings in his Ferrothorn, which I can't do anything to. So I go in my Tangrowth since it is, I'm expecting either a Leech Seed or a Vine Whip, a Power Whip. So, and he does go for the Leech Seed, so thankfully I'm not affected. And here I go for the Ancient Power. I was like, I'm going to let this thing go down. I mean, I just wanted to get the free switch into my Magmortar. And I was like, I'm going to go for Ancient Power on the off chance he decides to bring in his Volcarona. And with the Gyro Ball and the poison damage, it is enough to take out Tangrowth. But Tangrowth did a fantastic job. It's a very nice job tanking up some of those hits. And here I go into my Magmortar, which is going to have pretty free range. He's only got 3 Pokemon left. So if I had Rocks up, this thing would easily be able to sweep the rest of his team. And here he switches out into the Volcarona. He must have been predicting a Focus Blast. He might have forgotten that I had Flamethrower. But the thing, I was going for Focus Blast because I was expecting switches into Gastrodon and Lantern. But now I don't have to worry about anything. Nothing on his team is going to resist it. So we get the critical hit on the second one. That might have mattered depending on the roll of the first one and what the roll I would have gotten on the second one was. But at the same time, I could have finished it off with an Ice Shard from the Mega Glalie. And I was surprised that I took out the Swallow with one Flamethrower. So, I mean, Magmortar came up huge right here. He's going to be able to sweep the rest of my opponent's team. The crit, because I would have preserved this just for the Ferrothorn. And, like, if, I don't know if Volcarona might have been able to take me down. But even if it did, I would have gone on the Glalie, gone for the Ice Shard, and then I would have been able to take out the Swallow with another Ice Shard, most likely. So, and then I had some good Pokemon in the back. So that's going to be, that battle is pretty crazy. I got those rocks set up at the beginning, and those rocks really helped me shut down my opponent's offense. We didn't see anything from the Swallow, because I know it was Guts Flame Orb, because it was running Facade. So that's his super offensive attacker. And then his Volcarona, super offensive, super special attacker, was shut down because of the rocks. So he was kind of dealing with that the whole time, and he had to wait for his Excadrill to come in and rapid spin those away. So, I mean, he didn't really get that much offense off. I mean, he switched around so much between his Gastrodon, his Lantern, and his Ferrothorn, his 3 tanks. And then he was relying a lot on leftovers recovery. And that's why, once I got those knockoffs, especially and the Leech Seed from the Ferrothorn, I knocked off the leftovers, and I switched in Tangrowth for the leech seed, trying to get that and switch. If I got leech seed with something else, I'd try to switch it out because like his team kind of relied more on that defensive core. So I just like all my team pretty much came through big. Claydol with those stealth rocks to start out the game really set the tone. Jellicent tanking like a boss, shutting that Volcarona down. The tank growth with the knockoffs, Magmortar finishing up the game, the Scavalier with the knockoffs, taking out the a whole bunch of his Pokemon. Not a whole bunch, but he took out the Excadrill, and I believe also the Lantern. So took out a wall and the Rapid Spinner. We didn't even see anything from Excadrill. So all in all, a good battle. I learned how important knockoff is in singles. I learned how important it is, like potential rapid spin as well. Maybe in the future I might think about if I want Stealth Rocks to be that important, I could think of a potential ghost type Pokemon to shut down rapid spin. But oh no, I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot from that battle. But that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the battle. If you guys want to battle me, go ahead and let me know. I'm always looking for people to battle. But that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.